Well, about 4 hours ago when we started the dance for MEF Connect Wholesales, I did have a special thank you for some of the people that made it possible of the actually 4 to 5 pounds that it takes to create an event like this. And one of them, it's a very good news for us, is a welcome new addition to our MEF family in a more extended way at least, which is Ignacio Garcia Comin. Hola, Ignacio. Where are you? ¿Dónde estás? Well, I can't. Yes, hey, I can see you. Thanks. So I just wanted to introduce you. You'll be the host next, so you'll do all the hard work. But I think for all the hard work you've done in the past as well, it's a big thank you from us. I know you helped us to really find some of the topic and some of the people that are special to the topic and to the transformation of wholesale. So Ignacio, welcome for us and.
Thank you very much for such a good introduction, Dario. Really an honor.
Well, as I said, it's nice that I don't need to introduce you really because everybody knows you. So I'm here just doing nothing. I better disappear and let you go on with your work. But again, thank you for being here.
Thank you. So my pleasure to be today here with you. We have seen in the previous panel how Nitin Bath from Kaleido was giving us a perspective on the 5G launches and how they are boosted all the deployments by the consumer demand and IoT. And indeed, we have seen in the last month in country spectrum auctions, and we see that things are taking momentum for 5G standalone deployments. So we think in terms of wholesale business, this is going to have a good impact. But at the end, our customers are not only local customers, they are all as well global customers. And they are requesting us to provide the services all over the planet. And this is why we think that the topic that we are going to cover, the global 5G market, challenges and opportunity, is really something that is affecting a lot of the MEF members. And we think it's a very interesting topic to discuss. Dario said everybody knew me, but anyway, I'm Ignacio Garcia Comin, 20 years plus in the industry, working for telecom carriers and international technology companies in sales and business management position. And I'm very pleased to be today with you. With us, we have a really genuine and expert panelists with different backgrounds, and I think they are going to bring us a very complementary business perspective. So the first panelist that is going to join us is from Deutsche Telekom Global Carrier Services, Csaba Fuezesi. Csaba, very welcome.
Hi, Ignacio. I'm very glad to be here.
Thank you, Csaba. And representing Telefonica Global Solutions, Vanesa Fernandez Romero. Vanesa, nice to be with you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here. Thank you, Ignacio. Thank you, MEF, for inviting me.
Excellent. We have as well now two global carriers, but two companies that are developing solutions. And we have Nick Wennekers from Tomia. Nick, we cannot hear you, Nick. Probably you're on mute. And I see that as well we have Finn that has joined us in the last minute.
Yes, hi everybody. Thanks for having me on this panel.
Thank you, Finn.
Hi everybody. Sorry, I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
We can perfectly.
Thank you.
So here we are, all ready for rock and roll, and we will have the discussion structured in 3 blocks. The first one is about assessing the opportunity, the business opportunity. Previous panel was really interested because already gave us some insights. Then we will discuss about what needs to happen, what needs to be done to make this business real, this business implementation. And the last block is going to be if this new 5G is going to affect our go-to-market, if we have implications in terms of companies. So I think ladies first, Vanesa.
Hello. Just a brief introduction. Thank you, Ignacio. Well, my name is Vanesa Fernandez. I work for Telefonica Global Solutions, a Telefonica company focused on facilitating global connectivity for multinational corporates and as a wholesaler. I work in wholesale area and in charge of roaming services.
Perfect, Vanessa. So from your perspective as a wholesaler, how is the 5G opportunity? And where are you going to focus?
Well, really, I see 5G as a big opportunity for wholesalers for sure, and for society in general, every industry, consumer, and people in general. For mobile operators, I think that 5G eliminates the technological barrier in delivery ultra-low latency and high-speed capabilities. Even at the same time, provides efficiencies for the network planning and implementation. On the other hand, the network slicing enabled to provide finally a truly global network service. 5G will drive revenues to innovate and deliver new data service use cases for consuming and all industry verticals. And we are working as a global world. Well, let me share with you some figures. Currently, more than 120 operators have been launched commercial 5G. And right now, under planning implementation, we are talking about higher than 400 operators in more than 120 countries. So finally, in terms of mobile roaming business, 5G will transform this business.
Excellent. Vanessa.
I think these cases are going to increase roaming revenues up based on the massive machine type communication and ultra reliable low latencies.
Perfect. So let's keep going with the introductions. Csaba from Deutsche Telekom Global Carrier. Csaba, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know where your company is seeing the opportunity?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Csaba Fuezesi. I'm head of product management at Telekom Global Carrier, and I'm mainly focusing on the voice and mobile product portfolio. In terms of opportunities, we can see many opportunities in the 5G space. Obviously, 5G is triggering a lot of changes in the wholesale enterprise and wholesale telecom space. One of them is with regards to security. 5G is going to bring a completely new security framework, and that's going to also increase the complexity for the mobile operator community. So one of the challenge what we can see, and also the mobile operators can see, is to handle that challenge and the balance between the security and operational impacts. Other major impact triggered by 5G is cloudification. Many operators have to open their networks. Obviously, that's going to create a lot of potential new application services and also new way of working and business models between the different parties. And at the same time, we also have changes triggered by quality of service. Obviously, there needs to be an end-to-end quality of service supporting the different connectivity demands. Looking at one clear example, critical IoT. Critical IoT has completely new requirements also for the 5G, but also for the older legacy technologies.
Excellent, Csaba. Many thanks. I forget to mention during the introduction, but we have quite a few, let's say, questions for our panelists. But if the audience wants to request to put some questions, please do it. If we have time, we will address them with pleasure. Otherwise, our commitment is to pass the questions to the panelists, and offline they will reach you. Okay. So our next panelist is Nick. Nick, representing Tomia. Please, Nick, introduce yourself as well, and please give us an insight about where do you see the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Ignacio. So my name is Nick Wennekers, working for Tomia. I'm not sure if everybody knows Tomia, but we are a vendor in both the interconnect and also in the roaming space, where we're focusing on bringing value-added services and real network products like steering of roaming, welcome SMS to the network, but also fully to deal management, negotiation, and settlement solutions, both on the interconnect settlement, but also on the clearing space for roaming. When we look at 5G, and I think it was mentioned already by Csaba and also by Vanessa, there's a lot of new technologies, technological opportunities coming our way, right? With ultra low latency, advanced communication for massive IoT. And this brings a lot of new opportunities for operators to differentiate them in the network based on connectivity options that they provide to their enterprises or to their the wholesalers behind them. And I think what we see in the future is also that the roaming revenues, if you're really looking from a roaming perspective and roaming ecosystem, that most of these revenues are driven by these kind of use cases, and mainly these IoT use cases. It brings some challenges with it as well. So this brings you a lot of revenues, but actually what it does, and I think Csaba also mentioned that, it brings a lot of complexity. And I think what we need to do as an ecosystem, make sure that we can overcome that complexity and simplify that so that you as operator can roll out these new services and these new use cases as fast as possible to the market.
Excellent, Nick. So I see that so far there is, let's say, quite a good convergence in terms of perspective. Big opportunities, security, cloudification, more complexity as well for the end users and for some companies. Nick, last but not least, welcome again. Please introduce yourself. Sorry, I said Nick, Finn, I should say. Finn, please.
Yeah, thanks, Ignacio. And Nick and Finn, I guess, is not too far apart, so that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good afternoon, good morning, everybody. My name is Finn Kornbo, and I'm heading up the product management for the portfolio we call Digital Wholesale within CSG, where we serve more than 250 clients with roaming and interconnect solutions. So in terms of opportunities for 5G, I would say there are many on which we're working on in CSG. I think we probably got more than 10 different groups working various aspects of 5G, including the use cases around using 5G network slicing in clever ways to support the B2B and the B2B2X opportunities that we see in the market. But the one I like to highlight today, which probably haven't been mentioned in this panel, but have been mentioned in other panels, is around roaming. And the reason is that we see a big chance that this ecosystem around roaming will be disrupted in the coming years on the back of the latest development on the 5G and IoT standards. And that combined with the concept of home routing or home routing, I believe that will bring back the home operator and control of the business of the customer, of the customer experience and of their transactions. And I think that creates a huge opportunity that we in the industry must grasp and solve for the industry. Perfect,
Finn. I think your words are perfect for introduction for our next block, which is business implementation. So it's an open question for Vanesa and for Csaba. What 5G will push us to have? Is IPX evolving? Are we going to have different protocol, different solutions? How are you going to do the interconnect? Whoever wants to take the call. Vanesa or Csaba?
Okay. Well, I think it brings me a driver to start with your question and also with a question coming from the audience. Well, yes, signal interworking is a very important requirement. Connected with Csaba point raised, enables secure interconnect between 5G networking, introducing a new SEPP functionalities, a new signal protocol based on HTTPS, and ensuring end-to-end authenticity and integrity. It provides a much better enhancement of the diameter and SS7 and protects any roaming exchange vulnerabilities. So it's really necessary to count on a right IPX provider. It can be deployed by mobile operators themselves, going to the interconnection with IPX providers, or even use a hosted SEPP from IPX provider.
Okay, so same IPX network with some new developments and new some settings. Is that correct?
Exactly. Pretty focused on security. As Csaba commented, it's very demanding for 5G quality and services and taking a lot of care of the low latency and capabilities also.
Thank you. Csaba, how are you going to do from Deutsche Telekom? Is the way you're going to do the business is going to affect the way you do operations? Tell us a little bit more, please.
Yeah, on our side, the situation is very similar, as Vanessa already mentioned. So on the one side, you need to have a new signaling protocol to make sure that 5G roaming is going to be supported. That's something that we already deployed at Telekom, and we are doing large-scale intercontinental pilots in this area. When it comes to the security aspects, there are many things that mobile operators and also the standardization should consider. outsourced or hosted SAP is going to be definitely an important building block here. In this area, we are also kind of trialing and testing right now with the different MNOs what would be the ideal setup. We can see, of course, different directions considering the size of the mobile operator who is trying to introduce that service for 5G standalone. But definitely there is a need for more outsourcing, as we can see right now. There are also other components that are going to be needed in order to support critical IoT use cases. You need to have a scalable local breakout solution, and you also need to have a more meshed IPX peering infrastructure. That's something what we are also implementing and doing as part of the premium IPX activities, and it's also a kind of cross-industry collaboration within GLF to make sure that the different parties have a joint framework to support that.
Perfect. So I see that one way, let's say, part of the MEF members to overcome these complexities to rely on good companies like Deutsche Telekom, and you are, let's say, proposing even, I understood the word outsourcing, is to outsource the operations. How are you going to do the connection to the network? Is in particular to a module, to a function? Do they need to do something to make things happen?
Yeah, on the one hand, you need to have an IP-based interconnectivity. IPX is just providing that. On the other hand, when it comes to the security building blocks, like hosted SAP, as a mobile operator, you are either building up that functionality within your own premises and operating, maintaining that on your own, or you are going to outsource that completely to an IPX carrier who is going to implement that on your behalf. So practically acting as a primary security gateway towards the roaming world.
Okay, thank you. So let's say to go with all this volume, I understand that push by IoT, do we need any, I don't know if the word is back office solution or back office application? Finn, please tell us a little bit what is the developments that are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely, Ignacio. Yeah, so I think, I mean, as we talked about now here, and as Csaba and Vanesa talked about the new aspects of 5G. We also heard Kaleido, Research, and Ondia earlier today talk about the growth that we're going to see, right? So the growth in just alone from IoT business, right? That's going to sevenfold in the next 5 years, according to the Kaleido Research. So sevenfold. I mean, what that means is that we need to have our support, and we need to do things differently, as you say, in the back office or in the way we monetize and the way we interact with each other in the industry. So to support IoT business, for example, you need also new models, the way you need to count based on IMSI, not just on traffic volumes. We need a lower cost per transaction because IoT business that we want to embrace here with 5G has a smaller value per transaction. We need to embrace the settlement and reconciliation at aggregated levels so that we don't have to deal with each and every transaction anymore, at least in the way we settle between us in the industry. So basically, we need more automation of that process in the way how we monetize the business. And we need to take to the next level and not be depending on partners, for example, to send us the records like for the old and frozen tap standard, but with a new BCE standard that has been defined by the GSMA. There's a approach to how we can automate that process and potentially remove some of the expensive clearinghouse setups that are out there in the market today.
Perfect. So volumes, complexity forces us to go into digitalization and probably appification as well. Nick, any news from your side?
Yeah, I just would like to add on what Finn said. I do agree that things are moving slowly to BC, but I think, even looking at 5G, things right now already with IoT are moving faster than we expected. So what we saw is that because of COVID, we saw the traffic dropping with like 70% in our systems, right, for the clearing systems. But the number of IMSIs or the number of devices that stayed on the network actually was still quite significant. So suddenly what operators started doing, they started thinking, oh shit, that my traffic dropped like crazy, but I still have all these devices, but they don't do a lot of usage. So this change to these models that Finn was describing of IMSI-based charging, I think that has started now already in the beginning of 21, and we see many operators implementing that. And some of these standards, they even go further, or requests even go further than the current BC standard that we see already in the market, because we have a lot of operators right now asking us also to look at permanent roaming rules and implement them. So if devices are longer than 80 out of 90 days in my network, then please start charging differently. Those charging rules and those charging definitions are needed there right now to monetize these use cases already. And I think for that, even we already need to start adapting the BC standard in the future, because these rules are not even available in those kind of frameworks yet. Okay,
so clearly we have the BCA standard that we need to follow. Is from your point of view, from your perspective, when you are creating your solutions, is just being as wholesale as it used to be, or do we have, let's say, multinational accounts or large accounts as well, having requests regarding the back office solutions that we need to provide, Nick?
I think Finn mentioned in the beginning, it's more B2B2X kind of solution. So I think when you and I talked about it last week, you called it wholesale, right? So a little bit like an enterprise-driven request. So I think it's the big enterprises of this world that have some global connectivity requests. And you as an operator, you want to make sure that you can provide that. And 5G with 5G slicing in the future can definitely support that. But that brings this complexity and this automation. I think the automation in that case needs to go further than the single siloed products that we have right now. Now I need to start steering differently for this specific enterprise, but it goes all the way from negotiating an agreement to executing this agreement into the network and then settling it afterwards with a new standard like BCE. So it's this entire flow, I think, that we need to start taking into account.
So I think the word that we used the other day was the wholesale, which is a word that first time I heard was from Juan Revilla, one of my bosses in the past. And I think it's a very appropriate for the current moments that we are facing now. So excellent in terms of business implementation. At the end, we will try to wrap up with what do you expect from the audience to help you to do your business, or to the audience business to boost the business. Let's go to the go-to-market. Vanesa, are you changing the way that you are going to do the business? Is remaining wholesale? Are you going to move into channel management? Do you see any change in the dynamics?
Well, I really think that 5G will mean a much more collaborative ecosystem among different entities, just not only among operators, but with companies, vendors, wholesalers in general. So I think it was going to be supported by transparent, flexible, and reliable transactions, more dynamic and flexible business model. And for this, as commented also by Finn, it's really important the level of automation, tools, support on analytics, clearing, settlement, as BCE, commented also by Nick, blockchain, RTI, and tools that we have here in Global Solution. We really believe in a data lake. ROM lake is the name, in order to work properly in this new ecosystem.
Okay, so it's not only just a matter of how we do business, but how well what we put in the basket. So you think that we are going to put more added value services in the basket?
More disruptive, looking for automation, security, and transparent transaction. Yes.
Pretty interesting. For Csaba, I really was, let's say, very. It attracted my attention what you said about outsourcing. Can you please elaborate a little bit more about what it means for? Are you targeting tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 MNOs? How are you going to do this go-to-market?
Especially when it comes to outsourcing, obviously we can see different building blocks in 5G. That's a good target for outsourcing. One of them was the already mentioned hosted SAP solutions on the security side. This is something that you are directly selling to different mobile operators. But in terms of other demands, like demands for local breakout solutions, in those cases, the go-to-market is in many cases based on enterprise sales teams. In many telcos, in many telco operators, actually the B2B and the wholesale sales departments are closely working together. In the case of Telekom, actually, these are even managed by the same management level. That's what we call one B2B organization. And we can also see the partnership as a very important building block, because in order to release more and more value-added services, especially for the smaller mobile operators or the mid-sized mobile operator community, you need to work with partners, and that's what we do with Tomia and also with other players in the industry.
Excellent. I see that you buy the concept of wholesale, let's say, where the stakeholders in the definition and implementation of the solutions are taking more, and then we see a big partnership dynamic, no? So, Fina, let's say we have discussed about a little bit about the different goes to market, about some outsourcing, and even in some cases we see that in the industry we see some company consolidations. Recently, CSG, your company, has acquired Tango Telecom. Can you please tell us a little bit more about this? Because I think that many of let's say, the audience who is listening to us was a former Tango Telecom customer, so it's always good to listen to what is going to bring to 1+1.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, CSG, I mean, obviously we are happy to always build out our solutions with organic, expansion of the business. But sometimes the fastest and the best way is simply just to consolidate and acquire the assets. And I think Tango Telecom out of Ireland is a great example. We partnered with them for a long time to build a solution in the market to include, policy management and service control. And that had worked really well to the point that we sell, 1+1, as you say, is equal more than 2 when we put it together. Let's make it one entity. Let's embrace that. And actually, we think that is crucial to be ready for the 5G world. So that's exactly why we've done it. And, and we're very happy with that acquisition. Excellent.
So we see a lot of changes in the way that we are going to do business. We talk about wholesale, we talk about outsourcing, and we talk about some mergers or acquisition. No, we are moving into our last block, and one by one, I will ask you, how can you, let's say, interact with the audience to make the business happen? If you please could summarize in a couple of minutes. We have just 10 minutes left. This is not bad in terms of time. We think we are good on time, but if in 2 minutes you could explain what do you need from the audience from top to bottom. Csaba, please, if you can tell us.
From Deutsche Telekom perspective, we encourage all mobile operators to really investigate deep what do they want to do in 5G standalone roaming. Let us talk about how we can support you in the increased complexity that 5G is bringing to the table. Let us discuss how to handle security, how to handle the quality of service. In terms of quality of service, it will be very important to guarantee a low level of latency, low jitter. So this will require obviously local breakout solution. We are on the market since a couple of years with our regional packet gateway solution, which is even more than a local breakout solution, and that was very, very popular for enterprise customers and the early wave of IoT roaming. And when it comes to other aspects like 2G, 3G sunsetting, VoLTE roaming, that's going to be also one of the consequences of 5G coming so quickly and having impacts on many, many technology layers. So how to provide voice roaming is going to be also something where we might be able to assist the mobile operator partners. So let's discuss that together.
Perfect. So it's a call for interaction to understand where they are going, where they are, and to see how you can partner. If I well understood what your words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So Nick, your last 2 glowing minutes.
Thanks. Yeah, from a Tomia point of view, our full vision and roadmap is now geared towards 5G, both on standard product level, on single product level. So, for example, our steering of roaming platforms. How can we help you to make sure to steer to a certain slice in the future, make sure that you can offer this quality of service end to end. And from that, we are working with the operators, but we would love to be in contact with other operators as well to make sure that we build the right systems there. But most of all, what we're doing is our full vision is also to look at the entire monetization life cycle, like I said, all the way from negotiating an agreement to executing that in the network and settling that in the end. I think my vision is here that we don't expect really that Tomia will be the one-stop shop, right? I think everybody is always talking about it, but I think for the future, what is crucial for us as vendors and operators, indeed, like Csaba said, is that we start working together, that we look at building the right APIs, building at the right collaborations, so that we can build an ecosystem for an operator that helps them to enable those new use cases and to attract the right enterprises to the network so that they can execute those new agreements, new use cases fast into the network. And from that perspective, we would love to talk, of course, to all of the operators out there to see how we can help and how we can automate these things for you.
Okay, so we are going to put the focus on discussing with them the evolution and the automation of the services, if I will understand.
Exactly.
Perfect. Vanesa, please.
Okay. From Telefonica Global Solutions, we say let's accelerate 5G rollouts globally, overcoming the critical changes. Global Solution can help operators to deliver seamless 5G roaming experience, can provide 5G global connectivity for IoT. And let's start from opening roaming services smoothly, voice over LTE, 5G non-standalone right now. Operator can trust Global Solutions to open to go through IRIC and TADIC tests with guarantee based on our long and wide experience on one side. And on the other side, while Global Solution is a reliable IPX partner with a robust and a comprehensive IPX solutions, including RTI, analytics, and advanced tools. So let's go ahead overcoming these critical changes with Global Solutions.
Excellent. So what I see is that you are looking forward to do tests and to interconnect with other companies. Is that correct?
We can make tests for sure, and we can outsource the services, opening for roaming, starting from 5G non-standalone, and providing 5G IPX connectivity with the value-added services on the top.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Vanesa.
Welcome.
Finn, please.
Yeah, I'll try and make it short, Ignacio.
No, we are just in time, so we're fine.
Okay. But my message will be, to come and talk to us on how to monetize 5G and IoT opportunities in the market. That we are experts on, and not at least in the roaming space, and enjoy being, one of the first movers in this market to support the BCE roaming. Getting the first mover advantage, and I would say along the way there, not as I think Nick mentioned as well, as we talked about in the other sessions, building that ecosystem up for collaboration is so important to make sure we get a more streamlined business between our MNOs and our carriers, and that goes all the way from agreement management to the settlement and as well as to the billing of that, and don't necessarily rely on the existing agreements you have anymore for the tap clearing. That is no longer maybe needed in the business. Rather aim for full stack automation of the business, so that basically you can take back control of your own roaming business.
Excellent. So I see that you are requesting, let's say, to start playing the sooner the better regarding BCE and to move into the ecosystem, which is roughly a very common idea between all the panelists, and I think is what the MEF is bringing to us. Is the opportunity to talk to each other, to network, and hopefully to develop the business. We are moving into the very last minute of the panel, and before saying goodbye, I don't know, I cannot see if the audience has put questions. I don't know if someone can assist me, but I cannot see them. So I think it was a fantastic, let's say, opportunity. Thank you very much. It was great to have all you with us. I hope the audience was enjoying. I really did it. And to remind the audience that tomorrow we will have another panel. I will have the chance to discuss something which is very, let's say, aligned with what we have talked today, which is moving to wholesale solutions. And we will have Orange, Equinix, and Wesley Clover. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. I certainly did. and have a great day. Take care.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.